Good morning, everyone. So this is Saturday morning, and I had a super sleep in. I'm gonna try to condense this as much as I can because these IG videos are a maximum of 10 minutes. But I want to share with you my shamanic journey last night. So I did a conscious journey, meaning that I put myself into a ceremony and with intention. So I have the honor of knowing a handful of shaman who I would call my friends. And one of them is a gentleman named Mamerto Tendongen. And I had the honor of meeting him in Panama during my travels last year with my girlfriend Elizabeth April. And he provided a healing of Qigong that really, really impacted my life in such a positive way. And we have stayed friends ever since. Now I've had the honor of facilitating events in my hometown of Hamilton on his behalf. And during that time, he's also stayed in my home as our guest, and he's a lovely, lovely guest. Just such a beautiful, calm presence. And so we've developed a friendship, and I feel very connected with him in the spirit realm. And so he's eighth generation shaman on his father's side, and I believe like eighth or 10th on his mother's side. So it's in his DNA to be a shaman. So he is traveling to the Philippines or to the tribes on a land that is called the Philippines because of colonization. It was colonized by King Philip, so that's why it's called the Philippines. But most of the tribes people of the land, he's from the Lagatan tribe, that does not resonate with them, that name of the land. But just for the sake of collective communication, I'm going to continue to use the word Philippines until I'm taught a better way to address this land. So there's great sorrow in the different tribes people and earth people around the world from colonization. There's an extreme disenfranchisement that's happened because of that, and it's made a lot of the elders go to sleep. They don't remember the teachings of the old. They don't know how whatever that might mean according to the traditions of the different earth people. So Mamerto, bless him, came to me in his sleep space, in his dream time, to talk to me about this sadness. And so I said to him, do you want me to look into the land? This is something that I'm able to do. Can I do this on your behalf and maybe connect with Creator and see if there's a sacred geometry or light codes that I can put into the grid of the land to support this healing, this transition? And he said yes, so I did. So I began my journey in my bath with salts and crystals and sounds, as I do, and with my intention. And so the first thing that started happening is I was surrounded by Lizardians and different Middle Earth inhabitants, all different types of Middle Earth inhabitants and underground inhabitants that would probably all be connected to some form of a lizard. And this was very unnerving for me, and I panicked because they were all too close to my face, and we have a known bad history with them. So I was like, am I under attack? What's going on here? So I called upon Kuan Yin because she is the goddess of compassion, and she also connects with the Middle Earth beings from my experiences, and she rides a white dragon. So she suggested to me that I shapeshift into my dragon aspect, and that means calling on the codes of myself from another dimension. And I did this, and I was instantly a lot more comfortable. My vibration was able to handle their intensity, and I'm like, okay, step back, create space. You're right in my face. So next, after I did this, this huge purple kimono dragon came forward to me, and I was like, whoa, what is this? And she said, follow him because he comes from the land you're going to heal over in the area which is currently called the Philippines. So I did. And I followed this Lizardian, this kimono dragon, this ancient being. And when I got to the land there, I could see in the ground a lot of thick tar-like vibration. in a lot of bodies swimming in this, kind of like screaming. They were still in their death state. Now, from my experiences, I already knew what this was. What this is these are casualties of different wars among tribes people, among colonization, all the layers of fighting and death. When you don't die, when you've contracted to die, it creates chaos in yourself and you get stuck. It's a mental mind state. And this is the work that I've been working on behind the scenes. So I knew what this was. And it was so thick. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then I just started pulling on healing light as best as I could. And this thickness is almost started rolling away, like you're rolling up an old carpet. Really interesting. And this was deep in the ground underneath everybody. And then I could see this orange light. And I kept rolling and I saw this beautiful goddess. She was almost like a dragon, a human, and a flower. Very interesting being. And she was covered and showering in these like orange and red flowers and some white flowers. And she expressed to me that with all the colonization and all the death of the people of the land, she had gone under with them to hold space for them until they could find healing. But also what happened is she had gone dormant, and she was the goddess that every single tribe and tree and grass and you name it would pray to and receive blessings from. This is part of the reason of the minds of the ancestors of now and the elders, their minds going to sleep, is because this goddess had gone to sleep. So this was beautiful. She's awakened, she's activated, she was dancing, she was expressing gratitude. I was expressing gratitude. Then I was like, okay, so where did this begin? That's what I want to know. So I started talking to the trees. And so there's this beautiful traditional tree in the Philippines. You can see here. Oop, there's a hair on that. Sorry. So this is called black ebony. And this is a carving from the different tribes women in the Philippines. And this is the sacred geometry for the divine womb. So I went into this energy and I followed it to these trees, these ancient protected trees in this land. And they showed me, they were holding on to the akasha from the original trees of the land. They have all the memories of their ancestors and in the knowing space of it. So they were able to communicate so clearly. And so I was watching them and listening to them, and they showed me all the memories of the land, the soil, the trees, the roots, everything. They remembered everything, and they showed me every single war that had happened there, and it kept going further back. So I saw tribes people, tribal wars among different tribes people. So there's that. And then I did witness the colonization from King Philip. Then I went further back and I started seeing these knights on horses wearing really crude armor and metal armor. And I was like, wow, this is pretty ancient. And it kept zoom, zoom. So every time I was revealed a time, we cleared it with the support of Kuan Yin standing at my side. She was helping me to stay focused on what I needed to see and for my purpose. And such an incredible, incredible being. And next, she kept whirling into this, and I saw the knights, and then I started seeing dinosaurs. I have never, ever seen a dinosaur in any of my planetary timeline healing. And I was like, wow, this is impressive. So I was like, so this is how far back the colonization of the minds of the people began? So I'm looking at the dinosaurs and I'm trying to just kind of, absorb the data. Then I see these ships appear and these giants come out of the ships. And these giants were wearing this armor that was so intricate, this metal armor. And it reminded me of like the movie Hellboy or the movie Lord of the Rings, like the elfin ancient metal work. It was really beautiful. But then they started killing the dinosaurs and eating them like a roast. And they were colonizing the land. And this was the beginning. And I realized this is the Ananohki. So the beginning of colonization on our land began with these giant race star beings called the Ananohki, who colonized Earth. And then we have been transcending and repeating that since. So every culture, every race that we have hurt, humans have hurt, we've hurt each other, man. It wasn't even us. We were just repeating the paradigm that the Ananohki brought here. So once I discovered this, I almost turned into snow, and I started snowing among the land, and I realized I was pulling on the healing and the geometry from Creator that I needed to do. And each snowflake was this beautiful sacred geometry. And then I turned into one massive sacred geometry and started going into the land, this beautiful mandala, and it was going into the roots, the minerals, the soil, the food, the crops, the feet of the people, and everything just started healing and manifesting from that point onward. And it was just a really beautiful experience, and I felt that it needed to be shared because it matters to all of us. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're connected with Source or you're not. You're connected with your car or your nice house, or you're connected with the trees and the forest. It doesn't matter. We all feel this pain. We call it depression. We call it so many different things, that we are feeling the pain of the people in the history of Earth, and we're just repeating that cycle in different ways. Now it's like psychological warfare, or the political talking heads, and we're just repeating that colonization and disenfranchised mind space. It's kind of like the whole idea of being a slave race is we enslave ourselves by not acknowledging the truth of the roots of our pain. Because at the end of the day, we are all sovereign beings from Creator. We are starlights here to express something on Earth and heal. And when I go in to heal Earth, it's not the trees, it's not the rocks, it's the people. We are just as much a piece of Mother Gaia as the fish or the birds or the water or the stones, just as much. It's that history is the root of how we're going to heal Earth together, and recognizing that we've been pitted against each other, culture to culture, race to race, most recently with overcoming the enslavement of African people. Such ugliness. And it's not us. It's not us. We're role playing on behalf of this other race, this alien race that came to colonize Earth a billion years ago. So I'm going to post these geometries because I think they're so important. And what I'm being told is these geometries also will help heal your own ancestral DNA, your own colonization, your own disenfranchisement, the Great Burn. Women and men, we are all connected to the Great Burn. The Great Burn wasn't burning people, it was burning information. These were all people who understood this. They understood the magic of the plant kingdom and how to heal. It was the burning of knowledge. And so I'm really grateful that, I'm blessed to have a beautiful friend, Elizabeth April, and I was feeling depressed, and she helped me reconnect with that. I am here to do planetary work and heal Mother Gaia. There is no connection between her and I'm stepping into that, and I'm crystallizing that. And I want to bring it to you because you matter, and what you do matters. And I need you. Earth needs you. You need you. Your family needs you. The trees need you. The memories need you. The history needs you. And so yeah, that was my journey. That was the healing that happened. And really interesting because one of the things is we talk about this big meteor that came and killed all the dinosaurs. It wasn't a meteor, it was ships. They were eaten and colonized by the Ananohki. And what's also fascinating is I do have memories of being a primordial being. And I remember this happening. I remember the ships coming in. I remember being one of the first primordial humans and wondering, it's such peace with self and community and love and family and Creator and the great connection to all. And that peace was shattered. And I remember it. I remember all of it. That's another story for another time, because that one gets kind of dark. So anyway, I hope that you utilize this information to do your part of healing Earth and all her relations, which include humans, even the ones that frustrate you or piss you off or aren't attuned to the here and now of the awakening consciousness. Doesn't matter. They still deserve to heal. We all do. Every being. Everything. And there it is. Love and light, y'all. Peace out.